caveman, and I stole a level 7 turtle with a coil from behind the forest, and you know, that's not. It kind of gives me the feeling of how Anders must feel doing good moves. It's really funny, actually. I think I must have laughed a little inside. As a more experienced player and already established, I like to keep an eye out for up-and-coming players where I recognize myself in them, kind of. Because I always remember there were a few people when I was growing up as a player who helped me without any regard for how they get better from it. You could call it altruism. They just help me because they are nice or because they share the knowledge, and you know, such experience can be very valuable, and it can mean a lot to me. Like I remember I was asking Taker for you know, Christopher for advice against Night Elf. Like, how do you beat those Night Elves, man? And he's like, oh, I just towered him. And I'm like, wow. It's genius. I should do that too. And so I try to see up-and-coming players to see if they have potential, and I think I'm pretty good at recognizing that. For example, you know, seeing potential of Kryolofus, and also Todd got his big boost in 4 Kings, and you know, Foff, Lil DC. These are all players that, you know, you see them coming a long time before maybe most of the people think that they're good, or before they're known. One of those players was Rotterdam. He started out his claim to fame pretty much when he had a very strong game against Undead. He was playing Farseer and Tauren Chieftain and doing mass wyverns. But what was special about his style, he was extremely aggressive. And I don't necessarily mean aggressive at the right time. He was just aggressive, like he's gonna attack you, you can count on that. But a lot of players were not used to playing like against that style. And against Undead, he also combined it with some smarts. Like he also creeps. So he was creeping and harassing, and it came to the point where I think a lot of Undead players were calling him a map hacker, which I don't believe is true.
Well, I think it started for me the same as it started for nearly every other player that got famous in Warcraft 3. Just started to play like a lot of ladder, and like a lot, you should have to think of maybe 20 or 25 games a day, if I had the time, that is. And as soon as you start to play more, you can get higher level, and when you go back to the days when you were totally unknown and you just start, like a lot of wins mean a lot, and certainly in the moment you faced, like, and back in the days you had like all good players playing ladder.
And you know, this is how I thought, you know, he is better than me in some ways already, even though he's like this unknown guy. He was playing like with more confidence against Undead. I mean, most orcs are strong against Undead, and so was I. But I could see some things that he did, and I thought, wow, would I have thought of that, or would I have done that? And if you can do that, if you can see that, then you realize that someone has something that you're not, then you can learn from him.
So when you face like one of the most famous guys, and first you will lose all of those games, but every once in a while you start to take like one map, and even though you lost the previous 4 games, it doesn't matter, because that one time you beat the famous player. So that's the moment you feel like you're improving, but still you need more.
I have to say, most of it was not me teaching him. I just enjoyed playing with him and owning him with my off races. You know, I would play against him with Undead to see how I can do with Undead against him. I would play against him with Human and Night Elf, and he didn't mind. I was already a better player. He's getting a chance to play with someone good, even if it's not his own race. And eventually, I stopped being able to beat him with my other races.
As soon as I started to get more contact with the famous Dutch guys, it was like the time as well where I first started to meet Grubby, actually, because before that Grubby was just like an idol for me, like it's for every orc who's unknown. I mean, even like back then, it sounds silly, but even like when speaking to Grubby or something was back then something special, because you thought that he was like some kind of half god or so. So as soon as I started to talk with him and then actually started to play games with him, because yeah, it would benefit him as well if I would get better for the ENC, for our national team, because just wanted to make the strongest national team possible. And that's I think that's when I started to get in touch with Grubby, and after that I started to get in touch with more pro players as well, and I just started to play more and more, and that's where I got really better, and that's where I sort of entered the international circuit where people outside of the Netherlands would know me as well.
He was becoming better, and I think that's 99% just of his own drive to become a better player. This whole teaching thing, I think, was pretty overrated, or maybe not. Maybe he got something out of it, but you know, getting more good players in Netherlands had always been interesting for our own scene and for our chance to compete at ENC. So I like to groom Dutchies if possible, or help them and introduce them to the scene. Four Kings for me was finding my place in life for the first time. That sounds big, and it is. Of course, I've had friends before in school or through childhood, and sometimes you meet friends, and then sometimes you lose track of them, and you're always doing other things. You meet each other at school, or you went to the same school before, and I appreciated that, but none of them were gaming as I were. And to meet a bunch of people who were very, very different in their own way, but who in some way complemented each other's character, and everyone brought something new to the table. But on the bottom line, we all loved Warcraft 3, and we had this team which could compete in the world, not because we were individually the best player, but we had great team spirit. And every time we played a clan war, we wanted to win, not only for ourselves, but for the whole team. And this made everyone play stronger. And the LAN events where we could gather up as a team and have fun before and have fun after and during the tournament, those were, for me, the most fun tournaments of all. And if I was playing solo tournaments, I would always do better if there was some other Four Kings player who also qualified or got invited or went there. Just because doing something while you're having a lot of fun makes you do it better. So, and a little tip from them could help me feel confident, even if it wasn't a tip. Maybe it's just a placebo effect. But I always thought that if I could talk to them a little before the match, Zeus or Fury or Todd or Fall of Creo, and also before Lon, Kai, Kiko, that would help. So for me, Four Kings was kind of like a homecoming.
4K was here. See you at the finals.
Yeah, I think for us, the performance on WC3L stood or fell with having a bootcamp or not. And moreover, it was also just this really fun thing. I mean, we wanted it to happen for the fun, bootcamp. But it's hard to get a bootcamp for someone from France, someone from Croatia, Sweden and Netherlands, and then probably a manager from Germany, to get that all together, to find a week of time and to find a location. But if we did, we had a great time, and we performed the stars out of the heaven at the tournament, I think, because it just created this togetherness feeling where everyone wants to win for the team. When Creo joined, one of the main reasons was because he's joining a high-profile team with very good players in it, and he was also very excited to be playing in the same team as Faf. Unfortunately for him, Faf soon left the team because of not getting salary from Four Kings. But that made it so that we had a European squad. And Creo, I mean, anyone now will try to be on the Creo boat to say that they always believed in him and that he's such a good player and he's a legend and stuff. Either they changed their opinion, or it's like the people who were criticizing keep quiet now. But there were a lot of people criticizing Creo in the start when he joined Four Kings, and he had it very difficult with that. There was a choice between Satini and Creo. Well, both are and were very good players, but in the end we chose Creo, which everyone said was a huge mistake and we should have gone for Satini. Creo subsequently lost his first 6 or more, or around there, matches for Four Kings, but we never stopped believing in him. We just know that he's probably too nervous or something, or just anything. He just needs to get his groove on.
And is it difficult adjusting to this atmosphere? I mean, you have now Todd and Grubby in your team. Is it difficult to match these kind of guys, I mean, in Four Kings? Or what kind of difference is it from Fnatic, your old team, then?
I guess the main difference is that everyone expects you to win every match. And in Fnatic it was like you could